Hey y'all. Hey, hey, hey. It is 8:30. We're going to go ahead and get started. I want to be very mindful of your time as well as ours. Thank you for being with us. My name is Gina Wood, and I teach skincare and color cosmetics with Mary Kay, as you know. And I love, love, love my job. And I have the privilege of telling you just a little bit about the company and introducing you to one of my very best girlfriends. The first thing that I always like to tell people before we get too far in is Mary Kay Ash started this company for women by a woman. She had done several things in her past. I would love to tell you her story sometime, just not this moment. But she had done several things in her past and she was working in a man's world. And when she decided to open this company, she made it so that there was no quotas and that there was no territories because in her past, she had built businesses and then that company relocated her and sent her to another community, another town, another city, another state for her to build that area. But she lost all those folks that got left behind. Somebody else got to take care of those folks that she had established. So one of the beauties in Mary Kay is that there are no territories, are no quotas. I say there's no Mary Kay police can come knock on your door and say, "Girl, where you been? Why hadn't you?" We are a dual marketing company. And what dual marketing means is that if you want to just sell the product and make a great commission, because we make 50% on everything we sell, or should you decide to do like Jessica and Jill and I and build your team, you can make money on commissions. And I love to say this part when you make commissions with Mary Kay Cosmetics, the company actually is where the commissions come from. So whether you've been in 5 minutes and I've been in 5 years, we both make the same amount of money, and both of our commissions come from the company because we are debt free. It's an amazing opportunity. Our company is run by Mary Kay's legacy. Her grandson is our CEO and president today. So we are still family owned, debt free, amazing company. Again, we make 50% of everything we sell, no quotas, no territories. Should you decide that you want to work one time a day, one time a week, one time a month, or one time a year, that's totally up to you. We are all independent contractors with Mary Kay Cosmetics. And what that means is we purchase our agreement products from Mary Kay. They put them on a FedEx truck. FedEx delivers them to your door and we sell them to our customers because there's no middleman. We have the ability to have such a great price point with our high echelon line. And by the way, we're number one in the world. I don't know if you knew that or not. I sort of say you girls. Let me just say it anyway. I don't know if you girls know that or not, but we are number one in the world, skincare and color cosmetics, and we just won it for the second year in a row. And I'm so excited to represent this company. So without any further ado, let me introduce you to my bestest girlfriend here, Miss Jessica Dudley from Ruckersville, Virginia.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and make Gina a co-host real quick. We have some people behind the scenes, but I want you to do me a favor real quick. I want you to put your face on because if I'm gonna be on here crying, I want to see your face. Because every time I tell you this story, the story about how this business has completely saved my life, and when I mean saved my life, I mean saved my life. Then I want to see everyone's reaction because I was that person that was so ashamed of my past. I was that person that was so ashamed of the things I did. And I just said it to somebody today. If someone can make fun of me for my past, then it is my job to show them how God has used me to work through me and be able to change the lives of other women alongside the lives of other people. Um, my name is Jessica Dudley. I used to be a school teacher. I taught third grade for 10 years, and that is literally what I went to school with or for. That is where my heart is the little people because they don't know what if you're telling them something wrong or not true or nothing. They believe everything you say, and I could talk in front of them all day long. But it's adults that always intimidated me. And so I was just completely comfortable with teaching little third graders, and I loved them like my own. You started a summer program in my county to where I took low income kids and I had them over to my house. We would use math and reading and science to make meals for their family for the whole week. Because these were kids that lived on dirt floors, like the floors of their home were dirt. And their parents used them for all kinds of things that were not legal and not right. And it just broke my heart. So I knew that they were better hands with me than they were at home. So I just wanted to keep them with me at all times. And I was that weirdo teacher that was crying on the last day of school, and all the kids are like, Miss Dudley, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, you know. But then I left teaching because after 7 years, after 10 years, I had 7 different principals and 4 different superintendents. And if you've been in the education field, you know that a new person comes in and everything gets changed around, and there's new programs, there's new technology, there's new books, there's new things, and you have to relearn everything alongside with teaching your little people, right? Because you have standards that you have to keep up with called SOLs here in Virginia. And when the kids fail, you are looked down upon. So that was just a nightmare for me. And so I left. I didn't know what else I was going to do. And it just so happens that my family, my dad started a lawn care company. We have been in business for over 32 years. And just that summer that I left, his secretary had a stroke and lost 90% of her vision. And she begged my dad to keep her. And my dad's like, you're working with my money. You don't have 90% of your vision. That just doesn't add up to me. So I love you, Helen, but you got to go. I got to find someone else. So they parted ways on good terms. He took care of her as he, wanted to and should have. And she officially retired. And then that left an open door for me to slide on in. I knew nothing about taxes. I know nothing about accounting. And my dad literally threw me in the office and was like, this is what you need to do. And you need to get it done on time. And you got to work these hours. And I was like, okay. And then I was waiting tables at night, and we, like I told you the other day, we are in the lawn care business. So we have guys that are felons. We have people that, mow grass for a living. So you're going to get that type of employees, right? And so it was always the family rule that you could not date or have a relationship with anyone. And then I met this guy named John. And I was a straight A. Like, my parents are like, you can't bring home C's. You got to be home at 10 o'clock. If you're 15 minutes early, you're late. Very strict. So I lived that life and through my high school years, and I was the goody two shoes and all that. And then I met this guy, John, and he swept me off my feet. We were in the honeymoon stage for the first year. And then all these red flags started happening. And his mom, who was an overnight nurse, would come by my house and leave stuff in the mailbox, and all this weird stuff started happening. And I don't know if I didn't believe it, or if I thought I could save him, or if I was just too naive. But then I started catching on. And then when I started catching on, that's when all the physical stuff happened. And I had every bone in my face broken. All of my teeth are fake. I have been stabbed 6 times. He hired a hitman to kill my dad. He kicked in my front door. A nightmare, the things that he has put me through. And I was too ashamed to tell my dad and my mom that they were right. And so what did I do? I kept everything to myself, and I didn't tell any of my friends this was going on. And then we went on a family vacation. And I wasn't really thinking straight because I was just so excited to be away from him at the beach with my parents. I felt safe. And I took off my swim cover suit. And my dad literally dropped to his knees because I had forgotten that I was black and blue. And when you're wearing a swimsuit, you know how that happens. You can see everything. And he looked at me and he said, don't move. And then he went and called his partner and business partner and said, you better tell that man he better never come anywhere near me. Well, I hid that I was continuing this relationship because I came home and I was brainwashed by this man. And so then it got worse. Things got worse, if you can imagine how any of that could get worse. And I found myself this straight A, straight line, goody two shoes girl, found myself in a nightmare of a situation. And at the time, it was easier for me to numb myself than it was to admit that I needed help. He needed to be gone. I needed to step up and face what I had been hiding. And so I turned to substance abuse. And fast forward to 4 years into this, and we all know what that can turn into. and it turned into a physical addiction. And I found myself literally not being able to get out of bed without substances. I was spending $500 to $1,000 a day on substances. I was in neighborhoods that I would never imagine myself being in. I would wake up places I didn't even know where I was, with people I didn't even know who they were. And I was like the black sheep of the family. I was afraid to go to family functions because I would fall asleep. I would fall asleep at the stoplights, red lights. You couldn't tell me how many times a police officer knocked on my window and was like, "What are you doing? You're in the middle of the road. Your car's running. What are you doing?" And then I found myself in jail. This little girl in jail, wore bows in her hair, and I had no idea what I was going to do with my life, and it was literally spiraling out of control. I was the only one in my family with a college education. I was the only one in my family that had plans for the rest of my life and knew what I was going to do, and I was going to be a teacher and get married and do all the things. And here I was about to lose everything that I had ever worked for. I had my own house at this time, and my dad shows up at my job at the mall because I had to keep all these side hustles to keep up with my habits. And he shows up with my mom and my dad and my brother. And I walk out of the mall. It was Christmas time. And I see my car with my brother driving it parked in the mall parking lot, and my mom and dad in my dad's Tahoe. And they said, "Don't talk, get in, shut up, and you're going to do what we say." So my parents start driving to their house. I start getting a car with my brother. I follow my parents, and here comes John out of nowhere. And he tries to run us off the road, me and my brother. So my parents pull into their house. My brother and I pull in right behind him, and John pulls in right behind us. He's got a rifle. My dad tells my mom and my brother and me to run in the house, go in the basement, and lock the door. And my dad comes out of the house with his rifle. And I don't know what was said. I don't know what happened. All I know, no guns were fired. The police were called, and that moment, it's like I could see my life flashing before my eyes, because I knew right then and there, my parents knew right then and there, that if they did not step in and intervene, that they were going to be burying their daughter 15 feet under the ground. And so I had to spend the night there. My dad literally chained me into the bed, into his bedroom, stayed up all night long because he didn't know if John was coming back. He didn't know what was going to happen. And John was a drug dealer. He did all that. And he didn't know who was going to show up. And so that night he spent 12 hours until he could find me a rehab center that was open and that would accept me the very next day. I remember hearing him crying on the phone saying, "It's my daughter. I can't wait. There is no waiting list for her. I just can't wait." And so I remember telling them, "I hate them. I will never talk to them again. I'm not doing this. I'm not going. I'm not uprooting my life." And so they lied to me, of course, thankfully. And they said, "Jessica, you're just going for 7 days. That's it. We're just going to take you for 7 days. We'll see what happens. And we'll just take it step by step." So they drive me 5 hours away to Galax, Virginia. It's near Radford, Virginia. And I did not talk to my parents the whole way. I was so incoherent because I had called somebody to drop me off what I needed to be dropped off. So I didn't have to think, feel, or do anything. I was literally passed out the whole way there. And I remember walking into the intake center, and I remember my mom saying, I'm dropping my daughter off, and this is the last time I'm going to see her because she's not ever going to talk to me again. And I don't know if she's ever going to come out." And I didn't know I was being dropped off for 30 days, a month. And the first 3 weeks, I refused to talk to my parents. I would not call them. I would not answer their phone calls. I was so angry. But I think looking back now, I was just ashamed and embarrassed. But it was literally the best thing that's ever happened to me. And then I got out, and they came and picked me up. And my dad wanted to throw me this big welcome home party. Thank God he didn't, because who wants that from rehab? Um, and this lady kept calling me and calling me and calling me. And she was a girl that I went to high school with. And I was like, what do you want? Like, all of my friends have completely abandoned me. No one stood by my side. The only person I had was my mom and my dad. My brother was too ashamed to talk to me. He did not want anyone to know what was going on and what had happened. He was just so embarrassed. Everyone was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. And this girl, Alicia, kept calling me. And finally, after like the 500th phone call, I answered it. And I was like, what do you want? And she was like, I just want to do a facial with you. And I was like, why? Like, that's literally what I said. Why? And she was like, I didn't know any of this. I thought she knew what was going on and she was trying to, and she didn't know any of this. And I was like, if I do the facial, will you stop calling me? And she said, yeah. And so at the time, I John was still in and out of my life because of court reasons, and I still had to see him and legality stuff. Because if you don't know, if you move someone in your house, even if they sleep on your couch for 10 days, or if they change their address to yours, you have to legally have them removed. And no matter if it's their house or not, they can ruin whatever they want and they don't have to pay for it because they legally live there. And you have to get a restraining order and all eviction and all of that. And so I said, come to my house, be here at this time. And I was 45 minutes late to the appointment at my own house. And when I got here, she was sitting on my front porch and it was dark and we were supposed to have the appointment at night or during the day. And we did the appointment at my kitchen table of this very house that I'm sitting in. And that time I was sleeping in my makeup and I really couldn't have anything sharp because I had just gotten out of rehab and you can't have sharp, you can't have nail polish remover, you can't have any of that. Can't have a razor, nothing. And so I'm like, what is this? Like, what is she trying to do? So we did the facial with the old school miracle set. And I remember saying, well, I don't need eye makeup remover. When I have a good makeup day, I just get in my bed and sleep like this. And then my makeup's good for the next day because it looks so good. I don't want to ruin it, right? And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, if I have a good makeup day, I just sleep like a zombie, so I don't have to redo my makeup. And she's like, girl, you can't do that. And I was like, yes, I can. And she was like, no, that ages you like 7 times faster. And I was like, whatever. And so I tried the oil-free eye makeup remover. And she was like, well, what do you want to take home with you tonight? And I was like, well, I want that eye makeup remover. And I remember opening up my Wachovia account on my computer and I didn't even have enough money for the $17 eye makeup remover. And I looked at her and I was like, well, I can't afford I can't even afford an $8 eyeshadow right now. And she was like, okay, that's okay. Just let me tell you about the opportunity because it's her job to do so. And she gave me this spiel. And then at the end, she said, now, again, she knew nothing about this that I know of. She swears she didn't. I believe she doesn't. But then she told me about the 2 foundations that Mary Kay has and about the Mary Kay Foundation, supporting women and children in domestic violence situations and finding a cure for women-related cancers. And I didn't do it. I think God was working through me, pushed me out of my chair. I fell to the floor and I was a puddle. And she was like, what is going on? What is wrong with you? And I said, God has put you in my life for a reason. And I have never in my life had ever said this. And I said, I'm going to use my sobriety story, my recovery story as a comeback story, but not only as a comeback story, I'm going to use it to show other women in this world that no matter what neighborhood they were in, no matter how much money they spent, no matter what they did in their past, no matter all of the sins that they had committed, that they can completely turn their lives around and build a life that they are waking up every single day happy to live, and excited to move forward. And ever since that day, every day when I wake up, the first thing I think about is what my life would look like without Mary Kay in it. And I was telling Gina this story the other day because y'all, I've been in for 6 years, and then I got adopted into the Faith area national area 2 years ago. So I've been in almost 8 years. And in the first 6 years, I'm going to be honest, I was literally buying the products that I needed to buy so I could earn the things that I wanted to earn, which really wasn't even anything fancy. It was the jewelry. Like, it wasn't a real diamond ring. It wasn't any, like, I obviously couldn't afford that much of money, but I was literally buying my products every month so I could earn whatever the prize was. And I had all these products and no one knew about it. And then I get involved in a true sisterhood. The people that don't judge me for my past, don't use my past against me, but encourage me to share my past proudly and to help other women along the way. And it's just like it all clicked. Like, I didn't even know what was I was doing, you guys. And I earned 2 cars, 2 free cars. Didn't even know I could earn a car. Didn't even know what car tracking was. Didn't even know how to do any of that. I was just sharing passionately and proudly about the things that I have gone through and just working my business. And then I debuted a unit, earning that first car. And then within 2 months, earned our Equinox. Didn't even know we did it. Like, couldn't even finish one tracking sheet without getting onto the next one. And I was getting the call saying, you just earned your Equinox. And then I get this email from FedEx, and it says, we have a package for you and we can't leave it at your house because you got to sign for it. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, is someone sending me a dead body? Like, what in the world? And so I call Summer and Chrissy, and I'm like, what could this be? And Chrissy's like, get on Zoom right now and share your screen and pull your reports up. And I'm like, why? And she was like, because you just earned your head of class ring and you don't even know what you're doing. And I was like, what is that? And she was like, just pull your reports up and shut up. That's literally what she said. And so we got on the Zoom, I pulled the reports up, and you guys, we were number 2 in our debuting class. And I wore this ring tonight because this is the ring that I earned. And it's super special because on the side, it says Mary Kay, MK, right there. How cool is that? And I didn't even know what I was doing. I couldn't even sell a box of Thin Mints. I didn't even wash my face. And I slept like a zombie to keep my makeup from not being ruined so I could wear it for 4 days. And so when I think about Jessica back then and Jessica now, I still don't know what I'm doing, but I am just so passionate about what this business has done for me. Because I know without a doubt, and it's so sad to say, but it's true, that if Mary Kay hadn't come into my life when it did, that my dad and mom would be completely heartbroken because they would not have their daughter. They would not have their firstborn or their only child that's gone through college. And I just can't even imagine that. I don't have kids, but I just can't. I have nephews, and I can't even begin to think about that. And so when I say that this business has changed my life and saved my life and brought me to women all over this world that have poured into me when they don't make money off me, when they don't live anywhere near me, that people that have never even met me in person that really believe in me, it's just something that it's unexplainable. Because just thinking about that little Jessica that was going into the projects and getting her fix, and the situations that I was putting my life in with no hope, being the lowest of the low, and having all of the resources that anyone could ever dream of having, but yet still finding myself in that situation because it doesn't discriminate. It's not the poor people, it's not the bad people. It's a disease and it doesn't discriminate whether you're rich, you're poor, you're a doctor, you're a superstar, you're a famous football player. It just takes a hold of you. And it's those women in that time that needs the opportunity that we have to offer because it doesn't just provide you with a product to make you look younger, but it provides you with a future and a hope daily and a life that you are proud to live. And, and I'm forever thankful for Summer because I remember her telling me, you need to get on the Faith Area page and share your story. And I was like, heck no, girl, you have lost your mind because I was so ashamed. But the amount of messages and people that have come up to me and said, hearing you overcome what you overcome had came has given me hope that I can too. And I 100% know that that is the reason why God put me on this earth. Not to be a teacher, not to be a vet like I wanted to be, not to be any of the things that I used to dream about as a little girl, but to prepare me for the life that I am living now and the people that I am leading through their hardships and their past and helping them overcome what they are going through right now. Because if I had had that in that season, that dark season that I was in, maybe my parents wouldn't have had to spend all the money they had to spend on rehab, or I would have put them through the things. Till this day, my dad still wakes up at 3 a.m. because that's the time that he got that call saying your daughter's in jail. I mean, and it's been almost 8 years, and it's just instilled in him. And more women need that in their life because what are we naturally doing as women? We gossip and we're competitive. And that can just lead to so many other things or downward spirals or reasons to not feel and be numb. And now I can just teach women how to feel through their emotions and come out on the other side. So that's my story. That's what I've lived through. I'm a hot mess express, but I'm on the way, to figuring it all out. So that's what I got for you. I'm sorry I cried. I'm sorry if I made you cry. I
That's
cry
just
all the time when I talk about it.
thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing with us.
You're
That
welcome.
was amazing. I appreciate you more than you know. Y'all, it is really true that, the Lord is no respecter of person, and neither is this company. You get out of it what you want to get out of it. And the 99% of us are here to encourage and give hope to other women. Skincare and looking cute is just a byproduct of it because this company is really a sisterhood and we do lift each other up and we do encourage each other. And if you need wind beneath your wings, you're going to find it in this community. Thank you
With
so
no
much, Miss
judgment.
Jessica. With no judgment. That's right. None whatsoever. I love you so much. Thank you for sharing that.
You're
That
so
is
welcome.
amazing.
I love
And
you.
I'm so excited to see all the people that you reach. When we walk into heaven, this is what one of my things. I always say I got a few questions for the Lord one day about eyes and stuff. That's a whole nother conversation. But I am so excited about walking into heaven. Can you imagine all the people that are storming Mary Kay Ash and saying, thank you for listening to Holy Spirit. Thank you for doing what he said, even when it wasn't easy, because none of us would be where we are if she wouldn't have started. But Jessica, think about the women that are going to come up to you in heaven one day and say, thank you for sharing your story and letting me know that I'm okay, could be okay, and paving the way for me to be okay. I appreciate you. Thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
All right,
Y'all,
so we're gonna close out really quick because you know how we do. We drink the pink Kool-Aid all the time. We're not ashamed of it. So we want nothing more than to build our sisterhood and have you in it. So we want to share how you can get started today. This is our little flyer that shows you, and we have one quick question. We're not going to keep you much longer for you to answer right after this. But y'all, there are two different ways to start. And I don't know about you, but I had to borrow the $116 because remember, I couldn't even afford the eye makeup remover. And that's how much it was, $116 when I joined plus tax. So it ended up being like 119.35. And then when Gina joined, I think it was 120, right? You just told me and I already forgot. But y'all,
105.
you 105. You could either start your business with an e-start kit for just as little as $35, which you can't go through Chick-fil-A without that or for that. Or you could do the add-on, which is the 35 plus the 90, and you get your full business kit, which is over $400 in full-size product. You get that beautiful Kate Spade inspired bag. You get both flavors of our miracle set, the normal to dry, the combination oily. You get that famous Jessica's favorite eye makeup remover. One of those is sold every 5 seconds globally. You get all 5 of our tinted moisturizers, our mascara, our charcoal mask, our microdermabrasion, and you get the color card. So you technically get everything you need to sleep in your makeup and wear it for 3. No, I'm just kidding. So you can get all of that in your starter kit. And if you want to work it as a business, you are going to get the business tools to be able to facial your first 30 faces in 30 days. But here's the question that we want to ask you tonight. We always share this research with Mary Kay Corporate because as directors, they ask us to. So we want to know what you are. What are you after tonight? Because I truly believe that every story is different and every woman's story is going to find a connection with another woman, right? And you might be connecting with someone different. You might be connecting with me tonight. You might connect with Jill. You might connect with Gina, but I truly believe that someone in Mary Kay has gone through what you're going through right now or is in a situation where you might find yourself in right now. So what we want you to put in the chat if you are a guest with us tonight is an A, a B, or a C. And you're going to be an A if you would rather stay a customer and pay full price. You're completely fine with that. And don't be ashamed to throw that in the chat. I was a negative A, obviously, when I started. And like I tell my people, I love Nike Dunks, which are expensive Nike shoes, because I have to have one in each color to match my outfits. So I need my customers to support that habit, and I appreciate them. So you're an A if you want to stay a customer. You are a B if you would be open to being a personal use consultant. Meaning you have a mom, you have a sister, you have a grandma, you have a niece, you have a neighbor that's a woman, and that you could just get a couple of your friends together, get an order, and for $35, or you could get your products for half off just for you. You don't have to share. We're not telling you have to share. I'm just giving you that as a suggestion. Or you are a C if you're like, oh my gosh, for just as little as $35, I could absolutely benefit from not only this side hustle and earning some extra cash, but this amazing sisterhood of water walking women that will uplift, support you, never judge you, and help you find your strengths and work through them to create that life that you are forever grateful to wake up for every day. So go ahead and do us a favor and put A, B, or C in the chat. I'm going to leave that on real quick so you guys can see in case you forget. And then we just want to thank you for spending your Thursday night with us. We know time is one thing you give that you can't get back. So we truly appreciate you spending it with us just for a quick 30 minutes. And we truly hope that you come back. We're going to be doing this Peek into Pink series every single week because we want all types of women to be telling you their overcoming stories, their truth, and their journeys. Because, like I said, I truly believe that you or anybody can connect with somebody in Mary Kay, and it could possibly change your life forever or someone that you know. So we just appreciate you. We hope you come back. We'll keep posting the flyers and the links and letting you know when they're going to be. And we hope you have a great Thursday evening and a fabulous weekend.
Good night. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I thought Jillian was going to close us out. That's why I kept kind of fiddle farting
It's all
around.
right. Is Tracy Smith your girl? Who's Tracy Smith?
I don't know, but she's a consultant. She said she was a consultant a while ago, and she was apologizing because she got a new computer. So that's why I wondered if she was Amy's.
Because she direct messaged me and said, I understand, truly understand what you're going through. Thank you for sharing, or what you went through. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, wow. And Jillian's texting right now and said, so good, Jess. I'm balling.
I love y'all. I'm glad that's recorded because that's going in our groups.
Yeah.
Who's going to share next one?
Um,
I'm
is it
going
big?
to talk Tammy Middlebrooks into doing it.
I don't know her. So yeah, I'm
All right.
game. I've got a consultant texting me, blowing me up while you were talking. I turned my phone around one time so it would stop. 'Cause I was trying to
It
focus on
happened.
you.
All right. You need to
Thank
go to
you.
bed and you need to get some rest. You need to
I'm gonna
take
answer these
some
texts.
vitamin C or something.
And I've been doing
Healthy
that
stuff.
Zycam.
Yeah. My dad
Uh,
swears by that.
that's what I've been doing today. Um, this is not great. So I'm gonna go gargle and
Yeah.
lay down.
Go to bed at 9 o'clock. It'll be yeah. You're going to feel like a brand new woman getting a full night's sleep.
I love you very much, Jess.
I love you. I'll upload this and send you the recording.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Good
Loves.
night.